everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of Women Wednesdays. In this podcast series that I've started, I'll be talking to young women entrepreneurs in the beauty and lifestyle industry. And today we have a very, very special guest yet again. I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Hi, Debasree,
Hi.
and to all your audience. I mean, you have a massive, massive following. I am one of your biggest followers, and apart from that, I am a pastry chef doing completely opposite of what you're doing. Although we have so much overlapping in terms of the creative, sides of our careers. And yeah, I'm super happy to be having this chat with you.
So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. You're actually our second guest. We've only had like one pilot episode, and I'm not really sure where this is going. So thank you so much for doing this, despite just the beginning of it. So, like you said, you're a pastry chef, and the reason why you're here is because I got to know of your sweet company called the Crème Company, right? Is that what it is? Yeah, so I'd love for you to speak a little bit more about it. How did you actually begin this journey of like doing it on your own? And before maybe we get there, what were you doing? Like, what did you study? Did you always want to be a pastry chef? Sorry, there's so many questions thrown in there.
So I'll just quickly tell you of how I reached till here. So most people basically have an idea, and then we can start talking about the Cram Company.
Right.
So I'm actually a postgraduate in financial markets. I had no knowledge of cooking. I had no knowledge of food.
No way.
So I knew I was really good at the derivatives and the equity market because that is what I used to handle and punch in orders for.
Mhm.
But over a period of time, I started realizing that that's not what's really making me happy. It does get you a lot of, uh, I'll say, support in terms of your finances, but it really doesn't. It might or might not push you to wake up every single day, and each person, to its own. So for me, it did not work out at all.
Mhm.
And the day I was graduating, I had done a couple of internships, and I knew that this is not what I want to pursue. And the next best thing for me was to cook or to bake, not like I knew it, but just the fact that it was basically making me release all my stress, when I used to be studying for long hours. So I was like, why shouldn't I give this a shot? And I started studying in Sophia's in Bombay, in South Bombay. I worked while I was studying baking and pastry. I worked with a group, an NGO of differently abled young adults, and that is when I realized that this is what I want to do. I'm meant to do. This is where I am going to, I'm basically going to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond, and I have to make it happen. If it's not here, probably I'm not doing anything. So because I had nothing else that I kept, in terms of options open for myself, I knew this is it.
Mhm.
And I think then I went to Paris. I studied in French. So I studied French patisserie, but I also studied in French. I had to study,
So you learned the
basically learn
language.
how to speak. Correct, correct.
Mhm.
I had to do all my the theoretical subjects in French. So basically, it wasn't really easy.
That is one of the. I have tried learning French. I don't know how you did that, especially the grammar. It's so hard. And then you're also theoretically testing for your food in French. Wow, okay.
Yeah, and then also over there, the grammar is really different. It's not very logical for us because we speak English and Hindi, and it's nowhere close to French, right?
Mhm.
If you know Spanish, or if you know, if you know another, basically a language
German,
that
yeah.
a European language, basically, then it's easier. But for us, for Indians, it's really tough. So, but anyhow, I managed that. I studied for lesser period of time, and I worked in Paris for a really long period of time. Um, and
How
then
long was
while I was in
how long was this course?
course was for 5 months,
Okay.
and I worked over there for way longer than that.
Okay.
But like I moved to a couple of places. I even moved outside Paris because I wanted to like see how people are otherwise in France as well. While I was doing that, I got a call from Bombay, from Chef Alex Sanchez from the table,
Mhm.
and I kind of knew that I'm coming back to Bombay. I obviously wanted to for for sentimental reasons because my parents live here.
Yeah.
Um, but I knew this was an opportunity I didn't want to miss out on.
Mhm.
And I started working with him at the table,
Mhm.
which is at Kolaba, and then at Magazine Street Kitchen.
Okay.
It's funny how I joined in as a like as a commis. So basically, a commis is almost just above an intern, in a kitchen hierarchy. So I joined at a really low rung basically, and really quickly in a year I was the head pastry chef. So it was, that growth was it was incredible. It was massive for me.
And I'm sure that kind of
Uh,
validated your passion quite a bit as well, right? And uh, and it was of course because of your good work and everything that was showing up, which is what kind of gave people the you need that insurance, right? Like if they are promoting you to a certain head pastry chef, and that's a huge, huge position to be in. And I'm sure your work spoke for it.
well, I hope I did justice to all the places that I went, and especially at table, because it does have a huge name already in the market.
It does, yeah.
Uh, but I must say I was really lucky because I had a lot of support from Chef Alex and also from so many other people that I worked with.
Mhm.
It wasn't as competitive as I thought it would be. I feel there was more support and more harmony. Um, and then way after that, I decided to take, I think, the biggest leap of faith,
No,
because going to Paris wasn't the leap of faith.
it was, but that was more like, you're doing a course. You're not starting
Yeah,
from on your own. It's not like creating your own baby. There, it was like, maybe
correct,
I should do this and let me learn how to do this. But this was
correct.
it. This was where you were giving everything. You're giving up opportunities where you are the head pastry chef somewhere. So how long did you work at a certain place before you took this leap?
So almost every place that I went to,
Mhm.
whether it was in Paris or I was in Bombay, I worked for a year or at least until 1.5, 2 years. So overall, I had at least about 4 to 5 years of experience before I basically took the leap of faith.
Right, right.
Although I don't think it's 100% necessary for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's that one moment when you know that you're meant to do something bigger than this, and that doesn't come with just working with other people. I know people, and I know a lot of my friends who work for 20 years, who work for 15 years with other brands or companies, and they want to have a startup, but they
It's
don't
like
have the
saying,
courage to take the leap of faith. So I feel it's all about the willingness and the courage that you
yeah, I agree. So then what happened? This is so interesting for me. I'm listening to this for the first time myself, so I'm very
have. And then I took a very short break. So when I gave in my resignation papers at table, I had no plan,
mm,
and I think most humans don't have plans. They feel they have a plan. Things don't go as per your plans, right?
yeah.
So we all feel and we all want to have control, but we really don't have any control on anything.
Mhm.
So I gave in my papers. I took about 20 days off. I flew to Singapore at that time
Mhm.
because I had a really dear friend who was working there. So I knew that I could get some time off while he goes to work. I could just be by myself and do what's important for myself. Maybe sit by the beach, maybe read some books, maybe work out and understand
Time
where
for
am I
yourself,
heading.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, for example, your industry or my industry is so service oriented that you're always at work. You're never resting really, right?
That's why I would say,
Um,
actually, just digressing a little bit. That's why I would say the lockdown was superb for my mental health. To be
Loved it.
honest, I was thriving. I am my creative best right now because I did get that. It was finally that full stop, that quiet that I needed. But anyway, yes. So you were in
I
Singapore.
totally agree with you on this.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
glad. And you need because as creative people just tend to I was reading something. It might sound very stupid, but I saw it in some meme page, okay, on Instagram, and it said, creative people are like toothpaste. So if you pressure them gently, a good amount and a good toothpaste will come out. And if you put a lot of pressure on a toothpaste, nothing will come out.
I
So I'm
agree.
like,
Oh,
oh, we are toothpaste. Yeah.
it's so true.
Yeah, I can't
Uh,
be under pressure. I just cannot. Gets me
and
so.
it's really hard to explain when is your time off to people to draw boundaries, even if you own your own business in the creative
Yeah, agreed. So how long were you in
industry.
for? Like two weeks, you said.
Yeah, I was there for about, I think, 18 days or something like that. I came back to Bombay not knowing what I want to do, but I think basically I I came. My father basically owns a small a garage under our building, obviously, but he never parked his car over there. So it was basically a storage space which he never used. It was an unused space, and I'm like, if I sit at home, I'm not going to be able to think, why don't I do up this space a little bit, use it for myself so that I'm away from my family, and I also get some time, because all of us need to be, uh, you know, it's very difficult to basically separate a professional and a personal,
Time.
space. So
Work from
basically,
home. Yeah.
I work from home, exactly. So I took some time out, and in that time, I almost had figured that if I like being a pastry chef and I like making desserts, and I know I can thrive at this. And I have been a pastry chef at so many places. Why don't I open up my own kitchen where I can basically become a pastry chef of so many more restaurants at once,
Mhm.
but supply from my kitchen, so they don't have their pastry chef overhead, they don't have their machinery overcosts, they
Right.
don't have they don't have to worry. All they have to do is tell me what sort of a cuisine they are doing. I curate a menu for them, and everything happens in my kitchen. So then my kitchen became a central kitchen for almost a lot of restaurants in South Bombay, in Bandra, in Powai, and I think that's where it all started.
That is an incredible idea. I feel like you kind of discovered a need and the niche that was not being fulfilled, and you did it with you imparted a lot of value to these restaurants, and you had a great name behind you. You already established a brand for yourself. So they kind of knew your reputation, and they kind of knew your work. So and it was easy for them, and I feel like most businesses that thrive are always imparting some sort of a value and kind of fulfilling some sort of a need that is giving them monetary value in the long run. So so that's exactly what happened, which is why this kind of boomed. But I'm sure you couldn't do this yourself. Did you have to like build a team
So I first 5 months I worked by myself.
and
So
deliver
there
to
was
how many restaurants?
so that time I delivered to, I think, just two restaurants, but it was really simple to do two restaurants,
Right. Huh.
and and I did a few retail orders to get my hands on basically in a new space and all. And then my sous chef who used to work with me at the table, I brought her along with me in this company, and I was really lucky. She is also one of my closest friends,
Acha.
and she basically took over the entire kitchen, and I had nothing to worry about with the production. All I had to look after was the business perspective and the creative side.
Right. Which I'm guessing you're really good at, given your financial background. So that must have been like a plus for you, no?
It kind of was. I don't think it was because of uh my my financial background. I think it was because I'm a good Jew, and good Jews have a really weird trait of doing business all the time. So
Yes, I really am, and I have seen it in like so many of my Guju friends, and they're this natural knack for it. It's just a penchant that just comes out of them. It just like oozes out of them, and they're so good at it, especially marketing and branding and everything, and especially like the entire trading bit of it as well. Like you guys are so good. Like you come from a business background as well. For me, everything is so alien. My dad has been in the service industry for like 35, 40 years, so I've never understood how business is done.
but I think you're doing a fab job, and you do inspire me every single day. And your videos always pop up on my homepage, which shows the Instagram algorithm knows who I like the most.
Thank you. Thank you. So so once you were just going back to your like restaurant business, so was it, when did you start like, supplying? Do you do that? Do you even supply to like customers that kind of give you a personal order? I have seen your Instagram page. I try to avoid it so that I'm not. It's very tempting, but I love the way the the desserts look. They're so
Yes,
aesthetic.
it's the presentation of it.
Yes, it's so beautiful. Like I love the way. I mean, you just sent in a cake for Nikita. It was her birthday. It is her birthday today, actually. That you sent in was so beautiful. I wouldn't have cut it. Like it's so stunning. So when did you like start ordering or getting orders from like normal people as well?
Okay, so I think like when you just pointed out to the lockdown being almost one of the most iconic times for you in your career, right? In your creative sense, that also happened with me because all the restaurants shut down, all
Yeah,
the business were standstill.
right.
Uh, 2 months I was sulking, and I was like, I don't know what am I going to do with my life. I've built all this reputation for what? And obviously for the first 2 months in April and maybe we were completely off.
Mm-hmm.
And then when things started opening up, I opened my space again, and the orders started pouring in like no one's business.
Mm-hmm.
I got my mom to work with me on some days. I got my sister-in-law. I was like, help me because I can't get people from outside right now. And that is when I started retail, and that is when I started taking orders on a personal basis. I feel COVID really pushed me to do this.
So I'm
Uh,
glad, and I think restaurant businesses have been the highest hit after tourism and say like hotels and stuff. Like it has been really tough for those businesses. So I'm really glad that you were able to kind of find something out for yourself. So speaking of like difficult time, I think the last questions that I would kind of want to ask everyone is that I'm pretty sure you've seen some sort of setbacks, some sort of failure, or some sort of mistakes that you have made throughout the day. If you don't mind, kind of just talking briefly about what it was and how you kind of overcame that.
the mistakes that I've done in my career, if you mean.
Yeah, like a few things that you or that you thought at the time it was like a huge mistake and a big failure. What am I going to do now? But then eventually you learned something off of it. Did anything like that ever happen?
It did. I feel there are many incidences, but that's also relating to my personality. So, where for me, my work also comes with a lot of emotions for some reason. It shouldn't be like that.
I relate so much. I relate so much. Oh my God. Thank you for saying it out loud.
I'm so
Finally,
happy I found a friend who feels the same.
and finally who you can relate with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
So I think my personality, so I'm super hard as a person. If you meet me in person, you'll be like, no, I mean, she's never going to feel bad about anything, or she's going to be absolutely all right all the time. But I do come with a really soft emotional side. So I feel like a lot of times I've let my emotions take over in
Mm.
my work, at my workspaces, and I haven't made the right decisions and not dealt with situations in the right.
Right.
uh, because it's not your family, it is your professional background, and it's your professional playground, and there's a certain way you have to be. You cannot expect them to understand you like your best friend does or your mother does. So see, that is where I feel I could have made a few mistakes.
Okay. And I think this is the learning ground. I mean, you learn every day, and this is how you kind of, unless you jump into the pond, you're not going to learn this, you know. So I think I agree. We really, this was one of the biggest things that I had to learn as well, to separate emotions and my work, and treat it like, you know, no matter how much it's bruising your ego, if it's bruising your self-respect, or on also setting the boundaries. One of the biggest things that I learned how to do was to say no. I just can't say no for some reason. So sweet. I think that was really, really insightful, and also very, very inspiring and relatable. So is there any parting words that you'd like to say? Because my viewers are these young girls who are in college or have just started working, and they're also in the same place that you were before you went to Paris. So what is one thing that you'd like to tell them?
I just have a few lines to say to them, and then I'm going to say a few lines to you. But for them, I have to say that uh, every single day when you wake up, you do not have to feel that the burden of the universe is on your shoulders. You just have to wake up and be yourself. Whoever and whatever can accept you the way you are in your profession will accept you, and they will basically push you and help you grow. So all you have to do is be yourself and have a certain amount of consistency and persistence. I feel that is these are the two things that most people lack. So even if you don't have a skill in life, it's okay. But if you're consistent with something, if you're persistent with something, you are anyway going to become amazing at it. So
Right.
this is one thing for the all your followers, all your beautiful followers. And for you, I want to say that you are one of the most amazing people I've met. I think I reached out to you during COVID,
Mhm.
and for you to be so accepting of an unknown person and to be so kind-hearted,
Thank you.
and although I know that you have a lot of work, it wasn't like the hospitality industry for you guys. You guys have been working even more during COVID, and to be able to remove this sort of time and to put your emotions into another human is a lot. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. You just made me so emotional. Maybe get this very easily. I mean, thank you. No, for me, I remember telling Nikita as well, because you know that's how we kind of got in touch. And when I was telling her that she inspires me so much, we should do whatever we can to help her out. And of course, like, you know, and I tried out your desserts, and they were so so good. But you know, I think you had sent me brownies, right?
I think I sent you brownies, but they were more like they were vegan, gluten free, sugar free, because I know you're super healthy and like.
Still dream about those brownies. I still dream about those brownies. And I remember texting you. I remember taking your number, and I said that is like one of the, or I think I remember saying that, you know, this is one of the best brownies I have ever had in my life. I'm not even kidding. I went and I Googled you. I was like, who is this woman? I need to know about her. You know, and when someone is doing such good work, it's just the onus is on me, because you know I have been blessed and I've been privileged to have an audience. And you know, why not just make the both of you meet? And I'm sure I want the world to taste your brownies. That is my goal, and to taste your desserts. But I think that's all. I would like to kind of conclude it here, keep it short and crisp. I don't know how long we've been blabbering for, but thank you so much for all your kind words. Thank you so much for being so candid and sharing all your journey. And I'm gonna link everything about her and the Crème Company in the description box. If you'd like to go check out her Instagram, please go do so. I'm sure they can order via DM, or I'm sure there's some sort of a WhatsApp link or something. You guys can go and do that and try out her desserts if you are in Mumbai. And Thank you. I think, yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. I will see you very soon. I hope that we can meet in person once this is all over. And thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. I hope you made it so far. If you made it, you're amazing. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.